ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। उकारस्वन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रङ्कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ प्रज्ञानां शुप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिगरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि दिशनोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुङ् मायया भोजयन्नः मायासङ्ख्यातुरीयं परम् अमृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। We were looking at 89. ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञता हि सर्वत्र भवतीह महाधियः. So I had inadvertently switched to Tamil. So during the bhashya. So let's quickly look at the context. So the three things are being shown: the Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti as a Laukika Dvayam, Shuddham Laukikam, Lokottaram. Okay. So the Grahya Grahana Lakshanam Dvayam, the subject object duality experience is what is called Vekan. So Vekan is one of the experience, and within the Vekan experience is my individuality. Look at it like that. It's a very interesting understanding. We generally take the Vekan me is the truth. With Vekan me as the truth, Swapnam is subservient to the Vekan. Deep sleep also is subservient to the Vekan. That is our general perspective. But if you really look at it, these three are states on me. Whatever that me is, that these are three experiences. One is called Grahya Grahana Lakshanam Dvayam, the Vekan. Savastu Sopalambam cha Dvayam Laukikamishyate. The Laukikam, Dvayam Laukikam is where Vastu Upalambam. There is a Upalambam is there, but along with the Vastu. Whereas in the dream, which is a Suddham Laukikam, the Upalambam is there, but Avastu Upalambam. Avastu Sopalambam. Upalambena Saha Vartate eti Sopalambam. So there is a Upalabdhi of a world, but without an actual Vastu. It's only in your mind. So it is Savastu Sopalambam is one state. Avastu Sopalambam is another state. The first state is called Dvayam Laukikam. The second one is called Shuddham Laukikam. Both are Laukikam. But one is Dvayam Laukikam because Savastu. Whereas the second one is called Shuddham Laukikam because it is avastu. These two are there. And then the third is your deep sleep, which is avastu. This is also avastu, but anupalambam. The earlier two are sopalambam. Here it is anupalambam. Therefore, it is lokottaram iti smritam. It is beyond the two lokas, which is not perceiving any loka. So Bhashyakara was also saying all the four that koti point standpoints asti 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 nasti asti asti nasti nasti, they are all within these three because it is within the perceived context. Okay, when someone says asti, he or she is saying from a perceived jagat. So the Nayayika or whoever is going to say asti, the person is looking at an external world, a vacant experience. So just simple aspect, right? The astivada, nastivada, it is all within the vacant. No? It is within the vacant experienced objects. It doesn't go beyond the vacant at all. Okay, that is why this everything is under the sopalambam only. Huh. So the savastu sopalambam is where the asti, nasti, asti, nasti, nasti also is within. It is not a pramana which is outside of these four. Anything which is arrived at, first of all, by pratyakshadi pramanam, pratyaksha anumana and all that, which a person employs. That's why whenever we talk about Shastra Pramana, Shabda Pramana, Shruti Pramana, we are very clear it is an independent Pramanam. It is not employed by the Jiva. Whereas Pratyaksha Anumana, Upamana, Arthavati Anupalabdhi is employed by the Jiva. Therefore, it is within the Grahya Grahana, Grahya Grahaka Vishaya only. Because it implies the pramana which is already employed by the jiva. Therefore, it is within one of these three. In fact, it is primarily within the Savastu Sopalambam only. The vacant experiences based on which the person is making some conclusions. The conclusion is based on one's own perception, inference, and all that. But unfortunately, our knowledge is so limited. Our knowledge is purely based on our own experience in this earth. That's all. We don't even know what is in another galaxy. That much itself we don't know. How can we just somebody looking and says Sapta Padarthaha, they can say, how do you know there are only Sapta Padartha? First of all, it is only based on human mind, isn't it? Suppose a dog's perception, do you know what dog perceives? Does what dog perceive come under this Sapta Padartha? Or what does a bat perceive? What does a microorganism perceive? Do we know if there is life forms in other galaxies? If there are life forms, then do they have a perception or not? What has a perception only we have to say is a life form, right? So a buddhimat in any which way, right? It has a certain perception. In fact, the Jagadish Chandra Bose said even plants have some kind of a buddhi. No, we don't know what kind of an experience they have. So how do you know it is Sapta Padartha? This is all only human perception based. How can you determine what is the reality based on your own limited perception? Okay, therefore, it is very clearly says Sarva Pravadika Kalpita Vastunaha Atrayeva Antarbhavati here. Sarva Pravaduka. Pravaduka is people who are argumentative. I am correct. I am correct kind of thing. No, the Vada Jalpa and Vitanda and all these people, they are purely into establishing I am correct. This I am correct vada is a problem because it is based on your own emotional commitment to what you are saying. But then they will also say, oh, you Vedantis also, you are only, doing the same with Advaita and all. See, we are not dependent on a person's individual brain. Everywhere, any Acharya, if you see, including Bhagavad Pada or Govinda Bhagavad Pada or Gauda Pada or Dravida Acharya or anybody before that, after that, anyway, they are all Shankara Anuyayis only. All these Acharyas are only guiding us towards the Shastra Pramana. No individual is important here. Like our Pujya Swamiji, I was reading in Taittiriya Upanishad, that book also, he says every Acharya becomes a ghat. And this Jnana Parampara, Sampradaya is like Ganga. The Jnana Pravaha, which is Ganga, which is flowing all the way from Ishvara only, Sadashiva Samarambha. So Bhagavan is Veda Swarupa and Veda Shiras is what? Vedanta. So like that, Bhagavan's Shiras, from which the Ganga starts, the Jnana Pravaha starts from Vedanta and it flows. This Nirantara flow is there, perennial river. That is the Jnana Ganga. And every Guru is a ghat. So you take bath in the same Ganga through that one ghat. You don't go into multiple ghats. Whatever is your ghat, that is your Guru, you take bath in that. So everybody taps into it. So everyone is part of the overall Sampradaya. You are part of that Parampara. Every Guru is part of the, and everyone has made a contribution. No one is less, no one is more. But Sankaracharya Madhyamam we say because he is a central point, being the one who has given us this bhashyam which is available now. In fact, he also refers to Dravidacharya, Vrittikara and all these people before him. And Swayam, our Gaudapadacharya also is part of the same, right? But still, Bhagavad Padacharya, we have a special status because our bhashyam is there that we use now, which has been the predominantly used. I was also looking at in this whole digital library work I am doing. There is a Upanishad Brahmendra. He has written bhashyas for like hundreds of Upanishads. It's so interesting. He has like Yoga Upanishads, then Shaiva Upanishad, Vaishnava Upanishad, Sakta Upanishads. Of course, Prasthanatraya is where he starts. But there are like thousands of pages of bhashya he has written. So there are Acharya, and then you have Brahmanandi, Narayana Ashrami. They have all written independent bhashyas, not just tikas and Acharya Bhashya. These are independent works. Okay, it's there. So many people have written. Okay, so now what I'm saying is, so they can't. This Prapathakas cannot come and say you guys are also, only trying to prove you are correct. We are not saying we are correct and all. We are just saying this is what our Pramana Shastra is showing. And it is giving a jnanam which is non-refutable. It's something which is showable. It is not a theory like Saptapadartha, which has no basis. Okay, it's only your own perception that is the basis for it. And if I have it, you are modeling your perception into Saptapadartha, which includes Samavaya, Abhava, and all that. That's why there is a book called Khandakadya. It's a Vitanda book written by one Sri Harsha. So all he does is just refutes the opposing point. That's all. So there is no sopaksha. He doesn't bring this is what Advaiti is saying and all that. He just whatever the Nayayika says, he just refutes. So he calls it as Anirvachaniya. is what I am establishing. You cannot be deterministic about anything. That is the nature of Maya. You cannot be specific. So long as you establish that nothing you cannot be very deterministic, specific about something, then Nyaya and all these Vadas are dismissed, no? Straight away. Because there is no Vyavastha. That's why Vaidhatya Prakaranam here also. The Vithathatmam. Whatever you arrive at, it gives a different. You actually look at it, it actually turns out to be different. That is where the whole Mithyatvam and Anirvachaniyatvam is brought out, isn't it? So, Yadrupena Yanishchitam Tadrupam Navyavicharat Tat Satyam, if you say in Taittiriya Upanishad, it's a Lakshana Vakya. A Lakshanam means what? Yeah, it differentiates it from everything else. So the moment you say Sasnadimatvam is the Lakshana for Gauhu. The cow means it needs to have flap or whatever. The one under the neck, no? It's called flap only, I think. No, the Shasnadimatvam doesn't go and stick to anything else other than the cow. Then it becomes a Lakshana. Now, Yadrupena Yanishchidam Tadrupam Navyabhicharate Tat Satyam Sa Atma, suppose you have to say, then the so you are basically saying everything except Brahman cannot be defined accurately. Any definition you give, it won't stand for, because it will keep, there is no, it keeps changing at the definition level. We are not talking about anityatvam. After some time it changes. No, you won't be able to define anything. The moment you say this is what it is, you go and do analysis, it becomes something else. Some karanam is there. Therefore only thing which once it is understood doesn't remain, I mean it always remains the same, is Brahma. Then only that Lakshanam itself will hold. Okay, so therefore Pravaduka Kalpita Vastunaha. Everything, so the Sri Harsha just showed that you cannot say prescriptively these are the Padarthas. To show that, he wrote a Vitanda called Kandana Kanda Gadya. That whatever you say, he will ask a question and prove that it is not true. That's all. We don't have a paksha. Honestly speaking, what is a paksha? We just say all that you are saying is avastu. Only avastu is the one which is observing all this. That's only vastu is that. So it is beyond these three states, and all your theories are within one state of experience. Okay. So that one state of experience, savastu upalambham, sopalambham, savastu sopalambham. That dvayalaukikam only, within that only you are, all your things are. But in fact, that state itself, we say it is not there in the other two states. And your reality is within one third of your life experience. And within that, there is something you are saying. So he says, Sarva Pravadika Kalpita Vastunaha Atreva Antarbhava. All your Kalpana of the four aspects are within this one zone of experience called Vekan. Okay. Vijnayamet Paramartha Satyam Turyakhyam Advayam Ajam Atmadattvam Ityartaha. So Turyam means what? Beyond these three. We are not saying only Vekan is false. We are saying even dream and deep sleep, everything is just an anubhava. The content of it in all the three is beyond all the three, but within all the three. Okay. B is A, A is not B. That is what is your Swarupa. And that Paramartha Satyam Turyakhyam Advayamajam Atmatattvam Eva Vijneyam. That is the only thing which exists. All other thing, including space. There was this question yesterday about Sarva Vyapakatvam. The Sarvam means duality. Vyapakatvam means there is a spatiality. The truth of spatiality and nanatvam is only this turiya vastu. So if space itself is reduced to vastu, if you are space, if space is dependent on you for its truth, then by the implication of you being the karana of space, you are already sarva vyapakam. In once this the vyapta jagat is visible, if you see the reality of vyapta jagat, the vyapakatvam is there in the swarupa. Turyakhyam advayam ajam atmatattvam vijneyam sada sarvada eva tal laukikadi vijneyantam buddhaihi paramarthadarshibhihi brahmavidbihi prakirtitam. Okay, this we have already seen. Laukikadi means that Shuddha Laukikam and all that. And Lokottaram also is part of the same Mithya. Now we started this Jnaneja Trivide Jneye Kramena Vidite Swayam Sarvajnata hi Sarvatra Bhavati Iha Mahadhiyaha. Bhashyam we were reading Jnanecha Laukikadi Vishaye Jneye Laukikadau Trividhe ज्ञाने च लौकिकादिविषये ज्ञेये च लौकिकादौ त्रिविधे पूर्वं लौकिकं स्थूलं तदभावेन पश्चात् शुद्धं लौकिकं तदभावेन लोकोत्तरम् इत्येवं क्रमेण स्थानत्रय अभावेन परमार्थसत्ये तुर्ये अद्वये अजे अभये विदिते सति स्वयमेव आत्मस्वरूपमेव सर्वज्ञता सर्वश्च असौज्ञश्च सर्वज्ञः तद्भावः सर्वज्ञता इह अस्मिन् लोके भवति महादियः महाबुद्धेः. He is defining how the jnanam takes place. Okay. The sarvajnata sarvascha asaunyascha sarvajnah sarvascha asaunyascha. So the sarva, when you say, it is tatastha lakshanam, actually speaking. There is no truly in any sarva. In fact, the jnaha is the swarupa lakshana. Everywhere you have both tatastha lakshana and swarupa lakshana keeps, coming together. Because the moment you say sarvam brahma, there is no sarvam and all that, honestly speaking, right? Because it's mithya. It's like a crow sitting on the building. The sarvam is the crow. The building is the jnaha, swarupa jnapti. So the sarvajna in the word also, sarvascha asaunyascha, tatastha rupena sarvam, swarupena jnaha, both are Brahman. Okay. What is sarvam? That is jnaha. That there is a phrase for that, no? That bhaga, what is that called? Bhadayam samanadikaranyam. Sarvaha eva jnaha, if you say, then it's like Jiveshwaram. the Badhayam Samanadhikaranyam, by some Parityaga, one part of it is given up and that is a Samanadhikaranyam. Anyway, so here I am just giving my own the Sarvajna definition. Anyway, so the coming back, this what is this jnanam? This jnanam is about laukikadi vishaye jneye. Trivide laukikadau. What is jnanam? Jnane. Trivide jneye yad jnanamasti. That is the same jnanam, turiyam jnanam is in the form of the laukikadi trividha experience. The turiya is not a fourth state. A lot of people interpret it as the fourth state called, and then they'll say maunam, all that kind of thing. There is a fourth state beyond the three states. So we have seen all that in the earlier sessions. Okay, there is no fourth state. It is a fourth thing in the list that we saw. I don't know if you all remember at the beginning itself. Because Chatushpad, only for the count of the fourth, it is called the fourth. It is not a state, and all that Bhashyakara also spoke about. लौकिकादि विषये ज्ञेये लौकिकादौ त्रिविधे यत् ज्ञानम whatever is the jnana. What is that jnayam by which everything is known? Okay, that is the jnayam. Tadabhavena paschat shuddham laukikam tadabhavena lokottaram iti evam kramena. Okay, jnane trivide purvam laukikam sthulam tadabhavena paschat in the absence of the sthulatvam. So the sthulatvam, when it is not there, the first loka is sthulam, the grass. Okay, purvam laukikam sthulam. These are the three states. We all know this, right? The grossness, when it is experienced, it's called the vacan. Okay. Sopalamba, what is that called? I forget again. Savastu Sopalambam. No? That Savastu Sopalambam, when you are saying Savastu means what? There is a grossness there. That for Stulam is the Savastu. Then this Avastu, that is Stulatva Abhava. Okay, Tadabhavena Paschat Suddham Laukiyam, that is the dream. Then Tadabhavena, what Abhava? Sopalambam, that becomes Anupalambam, then that is Lokottaram. Or you say, in the absence of Stulam, there is Shuddham. In the absence of Shuddham also, there is the Karanam, which is the deep sleep. Kramena Sthanatraya Abhavena. When all the three are not there, means that superimposed is not there. When all the three is not there, then we shouldn't say that, oh, it is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the fourth state. That's not what it is. When in any of the as though three states, when it is actually dismissed as mithya, seen as a fact, then there is a Paramartha Satya. Okay, that Paramartha Satya Turye Advaye Aje Abhaye Vidite. That Swarupa, that Jnane is Vidite, when it is recognized, known, cognized, seen, Aparoksha Jnanena, that is Vidite. It's all Viditam is the word. Okay. We should not then say experience. Lot of people still say that experience thing. I'm so surprised. Here, even Swamis, they say Bhagavan says Jnanam, Vijnanam, Jnana Sahitam. The Vijnanam means Anubhavaha, Bhashyakara somewhere says. Therefore, just learning is not enough. You have to have Anubhava of it. Okay. Anubhava means what? Availability. In fact, Pujya Swamiji's explanation of Vijnanam is how to learn, how to teach. That is Vijnanam in terms of the methodology also. Anyway, so now Advaye Ajhe Abhaye Vidite. when the unborn, the non-dual, which is Turiya, Aje Abhaye Vidite Sati, Swayameva Atva Swarupameva Sarvajnata. Your own Swarupa is Sarvajna. And we have seen many times Sarvajna is different from Sarvavetritvam. That distinction you have to understand. All that is here is only Jnapti Swarupa. If you know, that is Sarvajnatvam. Yasmin Vijnate Sarvam Vijnatam. By what it truly is. That's all. Not all the Maya Mithya aspects, all details. Only Ishvara knows all details. Sarvajna doesn't mean at this time I know in Iran which all places have been bombed. How will I know? I can't know. Any jnani also can't know all that. Okay, they can, even if they have a greater some animadi siddhi and all also, there will be limitation. A human mind, irrespective of the highest amount of capability it can develop, it will be still limited. Okay, so some jnani may be better than another person. That's a different thing. Or a yogi, a siddha may have certain capabilities which are much higher than other normal people, no doubt. But even that will be also limited only. So only Ishvara Upadhi has Sarva Vetritvam because it is not through a buddhi. The Upadhi itself is Jnanam. Bhagavan doesn't need a buddhi to know something. He is not knowing it as an after effect. When a thing has happened, I know, or thing exists and I know. It's not like that. His jnanam only is projecting the world. So it is called Yugapat Sarvavetritvam. At once everything is Ishvara's jnanam only. That is his upadhi, his or her. Okay. Through the upadhi, the world is his jnanam. That is called Sarvavetritvam. And that upadhi is not there for us human beings. So we cannot have Sarvavetritvam. But we have Sarvajnatvam. Okay. So the Sarvajnaha here is Sarvaha eva Jnaha. That is one way. But we, from a Jnanam perspective, we can say Sarvam Brahmaiva, Sarvam Jnaha eva iti Jnanam we can have. What is the real Swarupa of everything which is there? That Jnanam, if you have, then also you are Sarvajnaha only. That Sarvajna only is a Jnani. That's why we say Jnani is a Sarvajna. Not because Sarva Vetritvam is there. So we don't equate. So that this point is very, very important what I am now saying, because this is the problem of Visishtadvaiti and Dvaiti and all. They ask the question, how can we be Ishvara? You see, even now they are asking the same question. You listen to this Chirkut Visishtadvaiti is giving this YouTube videos and all that. Oh, they are saying, I am Ishvara. Can I be Ishvara? Ishvara means he knows everything. He knows this and that. I am a human being. How can he be? Do you even see how stupid it is? They say, these ISKCON fellows come and talk like that in YouTube. You can see hundreds of videos like that. These Advaitis are saying you are Ishvara. Can you see how stupid it is? They say that. And then say that, oh, Shankaracharya came to confuse people, all nonsense. Anyway, so we don't say as a Jivatma, I have Sarva Vetritvam. The Sarva Vetritvam is only with Ishvara. So we are not dismissing the Kalyana Guna, Sarva Vetritvam, all that of Ishvara. I am with this Upadhi, with this Ajnana, this Sharira, this Buddhi. Obviously, this Buddhi and this Sharira is not Ishvara Buddhi and Ishvara Sharira, right? That much we are clear. Not like we are Buddhus who think like this body mind is what is Ishvara. If that is the level in which they are looking at us, then I am very sorry. We have to answer. No, we have nothing against them, but we have to make our position clear. Because I talk to them and they refuse to even listen. It's another big problem. So Sarva Vetritva, that Ishvara is Ishvara. Who says no? And that is why we also have devotion, we also pray, we have all that in Vyavahara. Just as much as even a jnani needs food to eat, okay, place to sleep, dress to put on, that jnani also will have to pray. For the Sharira, if you need food, you also need Ishvara grace. Everything is needed from a Vyavahara perspective. But despite needing all this, all that is here is only one Nyaptik Swarupa, which is what is Brahman. And that jnanam relieves you, it frees you. And Swarupena Ishvara and you are same. Upaditaha, you are different. Simple. What is the big deal in this? Upaditaha, part is a part. Swarupataha, part is a clay. By knowing it that I am clay, a part is freed. That is this whole jnanam about. It's such a simple thing. The fact, okay, whether you understood that your Swarupa is Nyapti now or not, let's wait. Okay, that may happen sometime. But at least this basic thing that our overall framework of what we are thinking, that much they can understand. No, that also they refuse to understand. Their mind, because their whole sampradaya is based on this, refuting this point. The whole refutation is about that how can world be Maya? That is the only problem they have. So there is a Satya Jagat, and therefore there is a Satya Ishvara. Therefore, that you are a dasa for the Ishvara. You have to always be subservient. You can never be the Ishvara. He is the greatest. You have to get his kindness. You need to be under his protection. And you are a worthless fellow. Your only advantage is you can be loved by that omnipresent Ishvara. That is the whole philosophy, and which is fine. They can subscribe to it. We cannot stop them. But you don't criticize us without understanding what is being said. Okay. That's all where we have a problem. Swayameva Atmaswarupameva Sarvajnata Sarvascha Atau Nyascha Sarvajnaha. That Swayam Atma is Brahman, this all the three states. In fact, these four Asti Nasti, Asti Nasti, Nasti Nasti, within that only even these theologians, whether it is Abrahamic theologians or the so-called Visishta Dvaita Siddhantis, they are also theologians because their root is in the theo. A personalized God is an essential thing. That also comes within this, the three only, because it is based on what? Pratyakshanumanam. They call it as Shruti Pramanam, but Shruti doesn't talk about some sitting in heaven or anything like that. Okay. No, that is all dependent on your emotional need. But the emotion also is within your pratyaksha only, pratyaksha world only. Anyway, so Swayameva Atma Swarupameva Sarvajnata Sarvascha Asaunyascha Sarvajnaha Tad Bhavaha Sarvajnata Iha Asmin Loke Bhavati Mahadiyaha Mahabuddhehe. That kind of a Sarvajnata is there for the Jnanis. Mahabuddhi, Mahanscha Asau Buddhi. So the Dhi is in the Mahat Brahma, that is Mahadiya. Sarvalokatishaya Vastu Vishaya Buddhitvat Evam Vidaha Sarvatra Sarvada Bhavati. This Mahadi people, okay, is they transcend all these. Okay. Sarvaloka Atishaya Vastu Vishaya Buddhitvat. This Vastu, what is this Vastu? This Jnapti Vastu. It crosses, it transcends the Sarvaloka. You understand what is this transcends? Because the Loka is Mithya, Satyatva Rupena it transcends. It is the Satyatva, Satya for all this Loka. That's all the transcends means. Transcends the Loka, the perceived three states. It is above. Above means its reality is more. That's all. Atyatishtati dashangulam. He stands 10 inches above because it doesn't even touch. It's aloof. Brahman doesn't touch. It is not um, disturbed. It is not tainted because it is aloof. Atyatishtati dashangulam. Not somewhere there up above the sky. Bhagavan is there in heaven because Atyatishtati dashangulam. All kinds of thoughts anyway. So this Swarupa is, that is why it is transcends. It's not like transcends mind. Again, this Swamis, I hear this here in North you come, there are many Swamis are there who also say, Man se pare hai, Bhagavan is transcends mind. That's all. The moment the word transcends is used, that means you are lost. What is this about? Then you have no chance at it, right? The moment it is, then you become my Sishya, do Guru Seva, and then you will get. That's all. You are hooked, bound. Because Vaisavi Manse Pare, it's above the mind and all that transcends mind. So here also, you should not mistake that transcends as one of that. That's what I'm trying to say. Lokadishaya Vastu. This Vastu is beyond, means that this Mithya Jagat doesn't touch it. Its reality is different. It is unchanging. It is Nirgunam, Niravayavam, Sarvadharam, Sarvasakshi, Shuddha Chaitanyam, Nityam, Bodhaswarupam, Muktaswarupam, Aparichinnam, Anadhigatam, Abaditam, all that. It is one which is not transgressed by anything, and it is not dismissible, because the one who has to dismiss it is the Swarupa. So it is Atishaya, Loka Atishaya Vastu, and that Vastu is in your Buddhi, because it's not in your Buddhi. You are anything other than it. What was you were seeing yourself as one. You are seeing yourself as one entity within one state of experience, and that entity is this bodied person. But now you flip yourself and then go as the cause of all the three, the Dvaya Laukika, Shuddha Laukika, and Lokadita, all three, whatever is the cause of all these three, that Nyaha, Nyaptihi, that is Sarvalokatishaya Vastu. That Vishaya Buddhi. Vishaya Buddhi means your Buddhi is now reconciled to that Swarupa, not as a Jiva anymore. In fact, your identity as Jiva and all has become Badhitam. Your individuality itself is Badhitam. There is no Grahya Grahaka Bheda which is seen as truth anymore. Therefore, your Swarupa itself being Shanti, you are a Shanta Ananda Swarupa. That person, Sarvatra Sarvada Bhavati Evam Vidaha. Okay, that person is everywhere in everything all the time, because he or she is beyond time, beyond space, beyond object, the cause of all time, space, and objects. Irrespective of any perception, that perception stands on this Swarupa. So whether we were talking about dog's perception, microbe perception, plants perception, all those, right? Whatever they are experiencing, whether it is Sapta Padartha, Ashta Padartha, or Eka Padartha, any Padartha is rooted on what? The perceived. So, based on your Upadhi and corresponding the Sharira that you are having a Adhyasa on, that Sharira, whatever it perceives, doesn't matter, because of which it perceives is Nyapti. So this human, the same Nyapti, in this human buddhi, when it lights up, this buddhi is able to have a vritti which can get jnana. But the same Nyapti, if it is reflecting on a microbe life, it doesn't have an upadhi for jnana. Then if it is the same Nyapti, if it is in a stone, it doesn't even have a buddhi. So the Veda between things are only kind of buddhi, kind of things, not what is the satta. The satta is only the surupa. So you can see it like that. Anyway, Sakrit vidite, sada vidite, swarupe, vebichara abhava. For the one who is clear in the jnana, there is no vebichara, it doesn't change. Because your Swarupa is Swarupa. Nahi Paramartha Vidaha Jnaninaha Jnanodbhava Abhibhavau Staha Yata Anyesham Pravadukanam. Okay. So it is not, it doesn't come and go. It is not dependent on a vastu. So Paramartha Vidaha Jnaninaha, the one who is a jnani, who has understood, recognized, cognized the Paramatma Vastu, Paramartha Vastu, which is Param Brahma. For that jnani, there is no Udbhava Abhibhava. Udbhava Abhibhava means it's not dependent on a vritti. This is what you have to say. Remember, okay, this jnanam is not vritti ashritam. Okay, the only one time for a jnanam to take place, there is an akandagara vritti. It's not every time you have to remember, oh, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. I just forgot, I was busy with my daily course. Therefore, I forgot I am Brahman. Now let me bring back my Brahman knowledge. It's not like that. It's not dependent on memory. Nor you need to do an avriti here. You have to keep on telling I am Brahman, so that at some point your this knowledge is so rooted. It's not like that. It's not you are practicing something which you haven't even cognized. Okay, that's all not a, that's all useless actually speaking. Rather, you can do some nama japa, at least you will get chitta shuddhi. See, that is why this jnanam is has to be given at the right time. Otherwise, the person will think all kinds of things. I have to keep on telling, I have to again and again. Somebody has been telling so many times, that's why that person is jnani. It's not like that. And it is best just saying I am jnani, one doesn't become jnani. Okay, the jnanam has to happen. So what is needed is only preparedness. These days I keep telling this, okay, because that whole thing about preparedness, preparation, it has got diluted these days because of easy availability of access to this jnana. In 1995, when we were all seeking, some way to moksha, we didn't even know things like, Vedanta and this jnanam is available. There's no internet days. These were not published. Maybe it was published some books here and there in Chinmaya Mission and all that. Okay, but Chinmaya Mission was one of 100 different, you know, institutions which were talking about liberation and God and all that, right? So how would you even know that jnanam leads to moksham and all? It wasn't possible. Vedanta also was not known. So we were like going, me and Jaishankarji used to go here and there into n number of places. Yogada Satsanga and then Aravindo Ashram, this, that. So Ramachandra Mission. I've been to everything, right? ISKCON. Name it, we would have gone there. Because it's not, so then your whole focus was only in preparation only, right? It was not like Aham Brahmasmi was just published in every book and every channel. So That the problem is when you tell something when the person is not prepared, it just not only goes waste, it loses its potency. The potency is there only when it is given at the right time. You have to administer a medicine in the right way at the right time, right place, all that, isn't it? You cannot just give it to everybody, then it will become dysfunctional. That is what is happening. So we need to keep emphasizing the preparedness nowadays because that is very important. Ishvara recognition also is now very less. Especially Vedantis, they think, they are, I am a Vedanti. That pride again comes. I am a Vedanti. Why should I go and worship? I am non ritualistic. All these kind of words. First, you name it as a very derogatory thing. Oh, ritualism. What is ritualism? Everything is a ritual, no? My Guruji used to say, what is you saluting a flag is a ritual. When the president of India comes and stands, others should stand up is a ritual. Speaker of the Lok Sabha comes, everybody stands up, ritual. You go to an office, your boss is there, you dress up properly, the boss comes in a suit. What is that? The dressing, it's a ritual. Yeah. So greeting somebody, it's all ritual, everything, the whole life is ritual. What is not a ritual? So without ritual, nothing. An army functions in ritual, so many forms. The way you salute, the way you dress up, the kind of cap you wear, the kind of badge you wear, the color of your dress. It's all forms and forms and forms and rituals only. The whole life is full of that. So just the Western people, they just want to destroy the forms of our process, growth process. So they demean it by naming it as a ritual and all that. So our Vedantins also pick it up. Oh, I am an intellectual. I am a Vedanti. I am not somebody who do all these rituals. That is all for like lower level people. This is another problem. Then your preparation is all gone. No, all these things only make you ready because you need to sublimate your emotions. You need to relate to Ishvara, so your unconscious gets diluted. You need to develop a broader asatoma sadgamaya. You say sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Survey Santu Nira. So it's the survey, the moment you talk about everything, may everybody be good, may everything be Shanti, may the whole universe be Shanti. Means what? Your individual ego is now getting into a larger realm. You identify with a larger thing. You identify yourself with the whole creation. Then the Adhyaropapavada becomes easy because you are already seeing yourself in union with the totality. So these are, you call it ritual. Come on, this is basic. You need to do these things. Then only your ego will come down. Instead, what are we doing? We are just bloating our ego by thinking, oh, I am a sannyasi. I got my diksha from such a great sannyasi. What is the use? Again, it's only an ego, isn't it? Everything is all. What we need to do is we need to diminish this. Who are we? If we got a sannyasa, it is the greatness of the Guru who gave it to me. I am blessed. That should be the attitude. Bhagavan made me obtain this, right? So if I have anything in me which made my Guru see me as a potential, then it is Bhagavan's grace. So that should be the approach how we should think. Then only you become ready for this jnana. Not by building up more and more ego. This is everywhere. This is what no nahi nahi rakshati dukrinj karane. Anywhere you have this. It's not that dukrinj karane doesn't help. Without dukrinj karane grammar, you can't understand the sentence. That's not the point. But without focusing on this jnanam, you take pride in I am, a great Sanskrit scholar. I can do tarka. I can dispute other sampradayas. This becomes another, the scholarly debates. People study Vedanta and then just use logic, this, that, oh, this logic in Vedanta is better. So by this logic, we can refute them. Oh, they are using the other logic. Okay, why not we use this logic? I mean, this is their thinking. You see that how that whole mind is working. The entire Vedanta, which is a moksha shastra, you are supposed to you listen to Vedanta, which is supposed to make you see a great fact. Instead, it becomes a scholarly theory. I hear these people they, in this universities they studied Vedanta and all that. There are people who are here. I mean, I have nothing against any of them, but I'm just talking about these institutes. They have projects on Vedantic thing, which is again, see, you are making the person see this Shastra in a totally different way, which it is not meant to be. Then the whole prakriya becomes twisted. The Shastra has to be handled only by a jnani and sampradayavit. It is not meant for some scholars who have no idea about Swarupa. Just as an academy, there are hundred different things which they can use. Now, what happens is it dilutes the entire Vedantic approach itself, and then you are actually making it weaker in front of some of the other Siddhantis, and indirectly you are causing harm to both the people. The other Siddhantis are also not getting the right kind of view, and the Swasiddhantis who are truly pursuing this jnanam, they are also put at disadvantage. So it's becoming a web of confusion now. Okay, so the why I am saying all this now, you earlier there used to be different kind of problem where somebody to become a jnani, they didn't even have access to the shastra properly. You have to go figure out where to go and study from the right person, and then you go and then figure that, yeah, so one or two mahatmas will be there, so whoever suits you, you go and learn. That is how it was 30 years back and before. Now it is like everybody is talking Vedanta. No, there are like hundreds and hundreds. Now you don't know who to listen to, and then we all end up listening to 10 different, 15 different people, and everybody gives their individual understanding based on how they see it. Now, as a listener, we are totally lost. And when you listen to the right one, also your mind is already influenced by what you heard from some other person. So it's a mess. That's what I am seeing today. Maybe I'm overstating this, but it looks to me that way because off late I'm just listening. I'm seeing a lot of different things. See, earlier I was also only focused on our sampradaya and our groups and all that. Now I'm getting some more, exposure because of this new role I've taken, and I'm seeing how these things are getting more and more muddled. Okay. So again, because there is a context, now we we are discussing the different sampradayas only. Now, so I'm not talking out of context here because Karikagara and Bhashyagara are discussing from the perspective of their times. At that time, these four asti nasti vadas, Nayayika, Vaiseshika, all that was there. So they were highlighting that. But today, our problem is not with Nayayika and Vaiseshika. No? Our problem is different. So we have to also bring those perspective. Then only the teaching becomes current. We have to contextualize our teaching, especially in the next with the next generations and all that. That's another thing I'm trying to do here in this institution is how do we understand the latest generation, Gen Z or after Gen Z generations, how they think, what is relevant to them. We also need to say every generation our shastra needs to be adapted to that generation. That's what our acharyas did over time, and we need to do that also because this is a knowledge which is a knowledge relevant at all points in time. It's only the language and mode of communication, medium, all these things change, but the truth is the truth. Now, adapting this to the context is important. Therefore, we need to talk about these things. Paramartha vidaha jnaninaha jnanodbhava abhibhavaha nastaha. So they are not dependent on memory or again and again recollect. There is no udbhava, abhibhava and all that. See, you are, let's say this is your actual Atma, Paratma. Your mind is fixated that this is what I am, which is a Vyakti, right, with the individuality. Now you have shifted from the I sense from here to here. Okay, this includes this, that kind of an I. Which can it again go back to this I? Impossible, right? If it was at least a different I, then there may be a switch. But this is the I which includes this, and that is Sarvam. When your I sense has shifted to Paratma, can it ever come back to this I? It cannot. So that is why we keep hearing this, right? That Punaravartino Arjuna, Samsaritvam doesn't again come back. There is no need for Jnanotbhava Abhibhava because your identity, your identification with your Paratma, once that shift has happened, it can no way go away. So that is why once a Jnani is a Jnani. If the Jnanam hasn't happened, then that person will keep talking differently all the time. Okay. So, but this a true Jnani, Paramartha Vidaha Jnaninaha, Jnana Udbhava Abhibhavau Nastaha. There is no need of memory and all. You don't have to recollect. Yeah, your eye has shifted. Shifted is shifted permanently. It doesn't keep coming back or anything. So, Punaravarti and all is not possible. Samsara is not possible for a Jnani. Because the Jnani Swarupa is in the true Swarupa. Everything else is Mithya, is seen. And the Mithya Jagat, he can still wear it, adorn it. And that is what is called Badita Anuvritti. Let's see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Thank you so much for
Hari Om.
that. Very good class.
Hari Om.